Testing, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. I remember I was praying about a year ago, and I was praying and just apologizing to God. I was telling God how sorry I am that I just suck. And I was feeling a lot of self-hatred and self-loathing at the time. And I was just going on and on about all the things I hated about myself. And I remember God's response vividly. One, because it impacted me so much. And two, because he said it with such an intensity that I really wasn't expecting. God told me that it says in Genesis 1:27 that he has created man in his own image. And I was one of those people created in the image of God. So what right did I have to talk about myself in that way? He then told me to read Acts 11, more specifically the part where God tells Peter to eat from the beasts of the ground, and Peter says no, they are common and unclean. And God replies, what God has cleansed you must not call common. God has cleansed me and you and anybody who takes Jesus Christ as their savior. So how can I, with my fractured and broken judgment, choose to hate something that God has said he has loved? It's not because of the way God made me that I sin, but because I'm going against the way God made me that I do. And sometimes it's like easy to forget. I know there were a lot of times that I've blamed God, like, hey, you made me this way to sin. Sometimes there's a fundamental aspect of us that's in God's design that's not good or bad, and we use it to do bad. And then we try to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, hey, this part of me is broken. The part of me deep down, the root of it is flawed. And we feel like we're rotten to the core, but it's never the case. None of God's design is rotten or broken or will cause you to sin. We just use it to do so. Like an example of what I'm talking about, God's given me like a really big gift of being able to discern people in a lot of ways. And because of my own sin, I've used that gift to judge a lot of people and to hurt people because of the knowledge that I know. I've used it in all sorts of manipulative and selfish ways. And I went up to God feeling really guilty and telling him, hey, take away my discernment. I don't want to be able to discern things anymore. It's sinful. And God had to remind me it's not the fundamental discernment that's the problem. That's a gift of God. That's who I am. That's my design. And if I follow him, I can use it in a way that glorifies him. And it's important to know that difference. It's important to know that you can hate your sin and not yourself. You know, I realize hating yourself is kind of in a sense, very prideful thing. And that sounds kind of contradictory, right? But it's kind of saying in a sense that you know yourself better than God knows you. Because if you submitted yourself and just trusted God's judgment, you would love yourself and you would love everybody else, and you would understand that God, who knows everything, God who is everything, saw all of us and chose to send his son and die for us so that we can be saved. All right, he did that because he loves us so much. The perfect God did that. And I've been rebuked in the same ways because I've judged other people so much too. And God has told me, hey, they're my creations too. And the thing that's really been helping me in that is when I look at other people, I ask God to teach me how he feels about them. God, tell me your favorite part about this person. God, tell me what it was like when you were making them and designing them. Tell me how much you love them. And as God tells me, you know, I love this person's sincerity. I love this person's humility. I love how hard this person works for the people they care about. It just becomes so much easier to love my neighbor as I would love myself. And as God shares those things about me, and God tells me how much he loves me and cares about me as his kid, it's harder to hate myself too, because I trust God's judgment a little bit more than mine. And that's been where I'm at in my journey processing self-hatred. If you resonated with anything I said, that's amazing. And just remember, like, God is so good, man. This is all God, okay?